Hello, I'm Paul.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to FilmBusters.
Yes.
FilmBusters.
We are flying solo, me and Paul, today because Adam is in New York. He left us for New York. He's taking FilmBusters stateside. And anyway, he would not be a very big fan of this film, I don't think, that we are going to talk about.
This is definitely our film, me and Ben, not Adam's film.
Yes. Even though he pretends he likes it, he doesn't have it in his blood and veins like we do, boy.
No. This film we got a lot of passion for.
Well, not this film. This is the follow-up.
We're talking about Devil's Rejects. We have a lot of passion for. Or do we have passion for this film? We haven't said yet.
Well, quite. We may love it more than Devil's Rejects.
Or less.
Or less.
Or significantly less.
The thing of it is, before we talk about Three from Hell, let's talk a little bit about when we saw the first two films. So,
yes,
when I first saw House of a Thousand Corpses, I feel like I rented it on VHS. I watched it at home, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck that was, but it was not great. And that's right, I had already booked tickets to see Devil's Rejects at the cinema.
Oh right,
because I liked the marketing of that.
Right, you wanted to see the original one before you saw that one.
Exactly right, okay. It. And I remember, now that I speak of it, I remember being disappointed and thinking, oh shit, I've got to go and see the sequel to that, but I'd booked the tickets. And then I went to the cinema, and I have never in my entire life been in a cinema that had 30, 40 people in it when the film started, and by halfway through, there was just me and my girlfriend at the time left. Everyone had stood up and walked out, and I was like, fantastic. I fucking love this film. Do you think that that situation heightened your love for the film, or you just loved it anyway? A little bit. You know that I love to love the stuff that people hate.
You like to be the solitary person liking the film.
Yes. But even without, because like you fucking loved the film.
Yeah, so my first memory of watching this film was with my family. We all sat down to watch it.
Oh, really?
I don't know how we watched this film together, but it happened. I mean, we used to watch some like mental films together. Like we used to watch like Scary Movie 2, which was quite risky at the time when I was quite young. It kind of just went along with that kind of explicit film that the family liked to watch for some reason. But
my God,
I got to the end of that film and I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. Everyone else wasn't so happy about it, but I loved it.
Let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
Devil's Rejects is a fantastic film all the way through. So quotable, the story, the characters, the music is all incredible. But do you think if the Free Bird Highway shoot 'em up scene right at the very end hadn't happened, do you think it would be considered as great? Would it, for example, still be in your top 10 films of all time?
I don't think it would. I'm not saying that the film as a whole isn't good, because it is. But yeah, there's something about a good ending to a film that just heightens it. It has to have that good ending. If it was a bad ending, it just kind of brings the whole film down.
Oh no? Yeah, absolutely. And also, it is legitimately, I think, one of the greatest endings to any film I've seen. Like not necessarily the greatest, but one of the absolute best. Like yes, if you say, tell me an iconic ending to a film, that will always come to mind. Yes,
it's the way it's shot, just the way they hold back on showing you the police at the end. It's just perfect. Like the way they're all beaten up, just laying in his car, all bloody car, all the fur's all bloody, all the interior is bloody.
I can see it so visually now, so bold. I know.
So
and
good.
That moment when Otis just hits the brake on the car, brings it to stop, like you were saying, brings it to stop, and you don't see the police. Yes. You just see his look on his face.
And then he just puts his arm back, he obviously taps him, and then you just see Captain Spaulding come up coughing the blood up.
Oh, man. I want to watch that again
so good.
Now.
Yeah, same. So
but
good.
It is, but 100%. You know that Rob Zombie's back catalogue is a bit all over the place.
It is, yes.
There's some films that are good and some that are bad, and I think never have his two styles been perfectly captured better than when he did Halloween and Halloween 2. Because I don't like people doing remakes of my beloved Halloween franchise anyway, but he brought a brutality and this dirtiness to it, which I loved, which is the Devil's Reject side of things. But the one worst thing about it was the characters. He made all the characters so fucking annoying. And this is a thing that Rob Zombie tends to do in a lot of his films. But
he does.
In Devil's Rejects, there wasn't... nobody annoyed me. Even Baby, who was a little bit annoying in it, was bearable. Because it was like, it fit her character.
He likes to make his characters loud and like have a lot of personality. There's no
real
like
trashy
middle ground. It's just all over the top, trashy.
Yeah,
it's
no
talkative
class
characters. Yeah, no class.
even his like sophisticated characters. You know, like in Devil's Rejects, which spent a lot of time talking about Devil's Rejects, but you know when the sheriff is like, I want to call in the Groucho expert. And that expert on Groucho comes in, and it's like he's such a caricature of a I don't, what was he, a film critic or something?
I don't know.
He had the long twirly moustache and everything, and it's like, oh, Rob Zombie, you cannot write for anyone without making them trashy and basic. Anyway, but we love it. Film. We love it all.
It is so good. So good. Yeah, and House of Thousand Corpses, I mean, I didn't even mention that. I can't remember whether I watched that before or after, but same as you, I was like, I wasn't like blown away by it. I was just like, yeah, it was fine. It was a bit over the top. I liked it for that reason, but it wasn't nothing special.
Two things from House of a Thousand Corpses that I remember. One is the Captain Spaulding intro when those kids turn up at his shop and he's like taking them through the ghost train.
I remember that. Yeah.
And that fantastic shot of Otis with a gun to the police officer's head. And the camera just slowly pulling up for ages, and then he shoots the gun.
See, I need a refresher on that film. I haven't seen it in so long.
It won't hold up.
No, probably wouldn't.
It really won't hold up. But then I very, very distinctly remember the opening to Devil's Rejects, going into the cinema, and that opening scene where they're all asleep in the house, and the flies were buzzing, and I was like, oh my God, this style is totally different. Because it was almost like a fucking Western in a way, because it was like a cold open.
Such a good
start. All sleeping around the house. Yeah.
When the family members getting killed off as well.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And they're all they're all putting their metal
iron masks
down. So good. We love this film too much. We love this film too much.
I know.
But we should get on the Free for Hell.
It deserves it. We tried to bring Adam into the frame. What was it? It was over a year ago. Like a year and a bit ago, when we stayed over at your house and we put it on.
When we did our Tomb Raider
very
review.
Late at night.
That's right. Our Tomb Raider review just after that.
To watch Tomb Raider out of our mouths, we had to play Devil's Rejects. But Adam fell asleep. Fell asleep. Anyway, shall we talk about this follow-up to it then?
Yes, we should. So basically, we've got two segments we're going to do. We've already recorded a segment which we did immediately after we watched it, which is our first impressions. In our next part, we had a few days to think about it and give our real impressions.
Exactly.
Yes. So this is it.
Yes.
That was a great intro, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? So
roll the clip. Okay, so here we are. We've just finished watching 3 from Hell.
Literally just 2 minutes ago.
2 minutes ago. So our thoughts are very fresh. Our rating is very fresh.
Yes.
So we're not going to stand by this rating. We're going to give ourselves time. And if we want to change it, we can for the actual review we're doing in a couple of days. Who wants to go first?
I think you should go first.
Shall I go first?
Yes.
Okay. So shall I give a little overview of how I feel?
Yeah. Do the overview.
Okay, so I started the film and I felt, okay, we're here. Yeah, this is good. This is definitely a Rob Zombie film. I know the characters. I like the introduction. It's got a nice little intro. It's basically immediately after the end of Devil's Rejects, where they've been confronted by the police. They're all going to jail. It's a nice little segment. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then it started getting a bit slow, and I was like, oh, I'm not really sure about this part. My rating went up again for another segment, and I was like, yeah, this is really good. This is the Devil's Rejects I like. This is the one I know. Yeah. And then by the end, it kind of dropped again, and it hit a lull, and I was like, what is this film trying to do? And I think I'm going to settle right now at a 7.
Okay.
I'm going to settle on a 7.
I feel exactly the way that you did, and at the end, I was thinking this has either got to pull something special out of the bag to really raise my rating, or it's just going to be very ordinary. And at this moment in time, based on having just seen that, I felt it was very ordinary, and I'm giving it a 6 out of 10.
Which is, I think, our averages.
Yes.
I think you give averages a 6 normally, where I give averages a 7.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, it's true. You give averages to... 7 is a very fucking high score. 7 is a film. See, this is the way I put it. I always try and think of the most prominent film on that score. For me, a 6 is Green Book.
Right,
I remember, like, Green Book, like, there was some stuff there, but it was problematic, but also I just didn't think it was a great and overwhelming film. So that's always my benchmark for a 6, and I think that this fits the thing. A 7, like, what did I see the other day? And I saw that I gave it a 7. I was like, what? I really liked that film. And I was like, yeah, because 7's an all kind of like a decent score. So when you give an average film a 7, I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, 7's like, I enjoyed it. That's what I see a 7 as. A 6 is like, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, but that's how I feel, you know.
Yeah, what? Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. I kind of have that feeling as well, but then, see, this is why it's very fresh, because I need to think about it. I am going between a 6 and a 7. That's what it's getting no lower and no higher.
Halfway through the film, we never do this, but halfway through the film, we paused it and we checked in with each other to see what we were thinking at that point, like rating-wise. And you said 7, 8, and I was like 5, 6, 7, but I was pretty sure I wasn't going to give it a 5. But I was really hoping to give it a 7, but... just like, we'll go into it in a bit more detail when we come back to this in a couple of days. But for me, it felt... I just kept thinking of Devil's Rejects, and that was the problem.
You're constantly comparing it. Like when we stopped halfway through, that was the time when this big... So kind of comparable to the bit in Devil's Rejects where they have the hostages in the bedroom, and that was like a mental part of Devil's Rejects. And this was like, okay, you're doing the same kind of thing, but I'm enjoying it. You're having there's banter between them.
Yes.
And I was enjoying that segment. And I was like, oh yeah, this is the kind of thing I'm looking for.
But also, it felt like Rob Zombie was like, people liked that, so I'm going to pretty much give them exactly what they liked before, but I ain't going to do it as well. Because I didn't think it was as extreme as Devil's Rejects.
No,
it thought it was. It tried to be very bloody, but like you said, there's so much CGI in it.
So much. It's so obvious, took away the amount of stuff there is.
And also, it just felt like Devil's Rejects light, like Otis in Devil's Rejects when he said lines like, "I am the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work."
Yeah.
And like, you can say fuck you. It doesn't suddenly make you a fucking hero. Like all those things like that were like so, like intense and fucking scary. But here, when he was saying things, it was like, this is kind of like a parody of Otis a little bit.
See, I feel like so when we in Devil's Rejects, the way the story goes, you think, oh my God, these people are crazy villains, right? They're like horrible people. And then by the end of it, you're like, okay, I'm kind of rooting for them now.
You root for them,
right?
Yeah.
But then I feel like he's kept that element of rooting for these characters. And so when they're doing these horrible things, you're still kind of rooting for them for some reason. He's not trying to make them horrible people. I found it
harder to root for them this time, you know.
I know, but what I'm saying is, yeah, I wasn't rooting for him. Even at the end, I wasn't rooting for him. I didn't really care.
No, it's true.
But like during those scenes, there's a lot of levity between them. They're not They're not trying to be horrible. They're actually like having fun moments between them.
But they're fun. Like this, again, the Devil's Rejects thing, keep coming back to it. The fun in Devil's Rejects, like Tutti Fucking Fruity and stuff like that, was funny. Like when Baby puts the ice cream on his nose while Otis is driving and they both laugh, it's like, oh shit, that's actually genuinely funny. Yeah. Whereas this time, it was like, there's a moment, all right, we'll go into details when we come back to this in a couple of days, but there's a moment when it hits the second half of the film, when they pull up somewhere and she's kind of like dancing around and she starts coming over to Otis and talking to him and they just start laughing about something. And I thought, do you know what this moment is? What they're going for here is the moment in Devil's Rejects at the end when they're driving down the highway and it cuts to like flashbacks of them smiling and in arms together. I thought this scene is just being shot so you've got a moment like that to revert to, because what they're talking about is not funny and it's not like even believable.
No. It
was like a forced, look how this family gets on. And we'll go into the details of it, but Richard Brakes was not a substitute for Sid Haig for me.
I totally agree. See, I really like this guy because he did so well in 31, which I know you haven't seen, but he was a brilliant character in that.
What would I have seen him in? He was a bad guy in something.
He was the Night King originally.
Oh shit!
Mm-hmm. From Game of Thrones.
Yeah, man. Oh my God, I was looking at him like, fuck yeah. I didn't clock that. Yeah, he is totally that Night King. Oh shit.
I think he's got a great face. Like his
he
smile,
does.
like such a good smile.
Yeah,
like,
it's fucked up teeth.
It's like
The
he's
teeth
got
is
like
horrible.
a triangle mouth.
And Rob Zombie played to that because he tried to get him to smile as much as
he
possible.
kept doing it.
We'll go into a bit more detail of it, but for me, no matter how much time...
Not a substitute for Sid Haig, no way.
What did you... Like, thinking of it as a trilogy, I feel like this was the worst out of the three, but it may also be because I've had a longer time with the previous two, but I feel like House of a Thousand Corpses, which I didn't really enjoy all that much.
No, me neither.
But it was kind of fine. Like, the Captain Spaulding moments in it were strong enough. And like, there's that beautiful moment where Otis has the gun to the guy's head and the camera pulls up for like 20 seconds before he shoots. There was no beautiful moments like that in this film. Like, imagine 5 years from now, what are you going to remember from that film? What's the most memorable thing?
Like, the amount of stuff that's memorable in Devil's Rejects compared to this, I can't even think of like much we could have pulled out and we'd just say to each other just like during the day, we're like, oh, Devil's Rejects.
Yes, exactly. There's nothing from that film that you could put on a shirt.
No.
That's the mark of it. Can you pull a slogan or a scene from it and put it on a shirt and people go, Free from Hell, right? There was one moment in it which I thought probably stands out and was like, that's cool, because Rob Zombie pushed the envelope a little bit and went a little bit dark and controversial, and it's the ashes scene.
Oh yes.
Which we won't go into any more details.
And that's part of the, when that happened, segment I enjoyed.
Like, that made me uncomfortable, man. I was like, oh no, these dirty people around them. No, that really put me on edge actually at first. I was like, oh, that's horrible. But then everything else seemed so light in comparison to that, because it was just CGI, knives and shots. The
tone of Devil's Rejects was like, it brought this fear and like, oh, these people are horrible, and it made you feel something. Well, this was just like generic people killing people.
That's it.
And there was like an extra element in Devil's Rejects as well, where the police are after him. You feel, okay, this is what we're heading towards. We're all waiting to get to this thing where the police are going to find them, and they're going to have this altercation between the policeman and them.
Yeah, and the one sheriff who is chasing them and hunting them the whole time, you know that he's a cunt, so you kind of more on their side because of that as well, because you see, like,
it's very cleverly done.
Yeah, whereas this, like, there was no, they have opponents in the first half who are all weak, no one has any strength, and the opponents in the second half are like, well, I don't even care about them, who are they?
It's all very easy.
You're so and so, but we'll go into that at a later date.
Yeah,
I think what we should do when we throw it back to the guys in present day, because this is the past.
Yes, this is the past.
Yes, when we go to present day, I think the guys should talk through the film.
Guys,
I think we should talk through the film, because we're not these people anymore. In 2-3 days, we will have changed.
Yes. One thing I just would like to say is that
Don't say it.
Rob Zombie loves Sherry Moon Zombie so much, and he's
the only person who does.
I know. He like concentrates shots on her so much, and it's so obvious, and it's like, just stop it, just pull it back a bit.
It's one of the biggest problems with the film is there is so much attention on her character this time around.
And she wasn't interesting.
No, and also, like, she's barely tolerable in Devil's Rejects, but it kind of works because you've got Sid Haig and whatever his name is, Bill Moseley, to sort of balance it out, because they're all in this family dynamic.
Because her annoying like character was like counteracted by people who like knew she was annoying, and they were like putting up with her.
Yeah. And it was spread out. It's already spread out. But here, it was so focusing on her. Like, I enjoyed... When she was... I wanted them all together. That was the main thing from the off. That wasn't good in the first 30, 40 minutes. They weren't all together. But in the silo storylines, I much more enjoyed when it focused on Bill Moseley than when it focused on her.
100%.
Because not even her... Half the time it was her, but half the time it was like, oh, this scene's so badly written.
Yeah.
Like, that scenario doesn't make sense. But we get into that. There's like, how would you go from being in cuffs to not, and then doing some of the stuff she does?
There's a lot of focus on her mental state in this film, and there's no big payoff for it.
There's a moment, this may be getting too detailed, where I thought, okay, now they're going to do something interesting. When Otis says, she's changed, man.
Yeah.
She's not the same. I thought, this is interesting, because she's overbearing, and she's real flighty. And I thought there was going to be a butting of heads between them. If they'd gone that route, that would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
Because then you're infiltrating the family dynamic, which has been close-knit.
But they kind of just throw that comment away. It was just for the moment.
Yeah. It was just what you might expect from any other Rob Zombie film.
Yeah.
If you said Rob Zombie's doing a film about 3 killers that go on the run, and he hadn't done Devil's Rejects, you just go, yeah, that's going to be.
And the fact of the matter is, I don't think I'll be rating this film this high if I didn't love Devil's Rejects as much.
No.
And that's what I need to think about over these next couple of days, whether
it
deserves to have the 7.
Yes.
Because I love Devil's Rejects so much, or whether it actually deserves a 6.
I would be surprised if I went lower than a 6. I have to think about if it deserves
I
a
don't
7.
think it'd go lower than 6.
No. Because a 5 is like, that's a really bad movie. It wasn't a really bad movie because it had moments in it that were mighty fine. Not many.
Not many.
And like halfway through, we realised that we had the motion smoothing on, which really, I don't know about you, but when motion smoothing is on, I get it. It's because sometimes people film like that.
Yeah.
So it's weird because it looks like, when people are setting out to make a B movie, they haven't got very much money, so they get these cameras which can do ultra high def, but it's far too smooth. It'd be like if me and you filmed something on our iPhones. It's not the, what's the technical term, 35mm or 70mm film.
Yeah.
It's very clearly digital rather than film. And then when we switched it made all the difference to me. I was enjoying the visual aspect much better than that first hour. That was just too smooth. Like the first hour felt like it was a TV show.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I think he was trying to go for that a bit. He was going away from the gritty style he was going for at the beginning, like from Devil's Rejects. He had all this CGI, which I don't think he needed. Why go away from practical?
And also, I was very sad to see Sid Haig. It was nice to see Sid Haig after he recently died in real life. To see him on screen again was nice. But I wonder...
You could see he was ill.
He was ill. And then I wonder how much of what happened to him recently in real life was connected to what was clearly affecting him then. Because they must have filmed that, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, yeah.
But, yes, it was kind of sad. And, when he was talking, there's a moment in it where he does his hearty laugh, and it was like, oh, shit, that's forced for you. That would have taken some effort. Because when he was talking, he was very calm.
Yeah, yeah. R.I.P. This has put a little message out now. Sid Haig, rest in peace. We loved you.
We love you.
We're sad you're gone.
We love you still.
Yeah, we still love you.
R.A.P.S.I.D.
Nice.
Childish. Anyway, I think that's more than enough.
Okay, so that was our first impressions of the film. And now we've had a few days to think about it. And Ben, do you want to go first? What are your thoughts 3 days afterwards?
I think we mentioned it in that comment that we gave a few days ago. But if we didn't, the key thing is the reason for the 6 at the time was because it was the beloved characters. If it wasn't them, it would be a 5. And I'm really wrestling with the score for this film because I really don't think it's worthy of a 6. I really don't. And for that reason, I think I actually have to give this a 5.
Wow, well, we were.
Yeah. I'm really disappointed to say that.
Yes.
And you?
So, these few days that I've had to think about this film, the funny thing is, I haven't thought once about this film.
Quite. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, right. You nailed it.
Yeah, so I have to break it down. I can't keep it at 7 because it's so forgettable. I haven't even been thinking about it, so I'm giving it a 6.
It's very telling, mate. It's such a shame, though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
The
disappointment has to bring it down because, I'm not even disappointed because I've just forgotten about it.
That's the thing.
It's really a shame.
It was so infinitely forgettable and so by the numbers. There was nothing clever or smart or well done or original about it. It was like Rob Zombie had made this film 15 years ago. 15 years before Devil's Rejects,
It's just a carbon copy.
It is. And Devil's Rejects is the more mature film. It's like, how do you go from being so technically gifted with Devil's Rejects? You've got a really spot-on script there. You've got really good performances. It's directed super well. And then in this, it's like, well, all of those things that I could do back then, I've forgotten how to do all of them. No subtlety, no clever dialogue, no memorable moments. Just like, it was trashy. It was like a trashy, classless film.
Yeah. I think the thing is, he made Devil's Rejects, and he obviously got a bit of a boost from that because everyone was like, "Wow, you've actually did a really good job on this." And obviously, people have given him a little bit more money. He can make the films he wants, and he did make the films he wants, and they've been absolutely rubbish, apart from 31, which was quite good. And I think he's taken this experience on these other films and just thought, "Let me try and make it again. Let's recapture those moments." But instead of trying to recapture those moments, he just tried to mimic or duplicate those moments, but it really did not work.
It did not.
No.
Well, let's do a little contrarian style. Let's try this run through of the film.
Okay, let's have a go.
Let's talk through the film and let's see if we can pinpoint just where he fucked up so badly.
Okay, so first thoughts, which I was thought when we were going into the intro of this film, I was thinking, okay, he's trying to do some kind of Charles Manson serial killer vibe where he's got all these fans of these serial killers, and they're loving them, and they think it's wrong that they're in prison. And I thought I was enjoying that. I was like, okay, they're going this direction. I was fine with that because it was realistic.
But it was making me think of Natural Born Killers immediately. Yeah. It was like, okay, so that's a Natural Born Killers riff. Yeah.
And then it seemed like this whole segment was dragged out for so long, and it was like, okay, this is the Captain Spaulding one was first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this started the Captain Spaulding segment. Okay, so that was nice. It was all right.
It was nice. It was nice to see him.
It was nice to see him.
But it was sad, knowing how sick he must have been, knowing that he'd recently died, and knowing that this was like his only fucking scene in the whole film.
I know. It was very sad. I think the fact that he died made it a little bit more sour as well.
It did. And also, we were seeing him without his clown makeup on.
Yeah, and he looked so skinny.
Yeah.
Compared to... There was a shot during the film showing him from Devil's Rejects where he's like bulked out.
He's really round, so much weight on him. Yeah, I know.
And it's so obviously different. And it was sad to see him like a withered old man.
But hey, death is coming for us all, baby.
Yes, he is.
I know, and it was sad, but it was like, okay, the scene was fine. But even then, the warning signs were there that this was not going to go well, because in the scene where the guy's interviewing him, and he asks Captain Spaulding, "Did you say that, or what did you say?" And he says, "Do I stutter?" And it's like, oh man, don't repeat an iconic line from the last film, because then it becomes like, "I'll be back" for Arnie. Like, the more you hear it, the shitter it is.
It's true. It's like you can't trap that lightning in a bottle.
No. He tried to, he failed. The lightning went straight into Spaulding, and Spaulding was killed off in the first fucking 5 minutes. I was like, no, man.
It's very true. That is very true. And that even as well, when they said, they was like, Captain Spaulding's dead. He's dead. I was like, yes, he is. He is in real life. Yes, he's dead. Thanks for telling us again.
Yeah, thanks. Great reminder. That hurt. And then we had Otis, who I can't even remember how he got out of jail.
He killed... he had that thing. This is found footage.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The found footage where Danny Trejo cameos for about 20 seconds.
Yes, a little bit silly. We realised halfway through the film that Danny Trejo was the bounty hunter who got them for the policeman in the first one.
In the previous one, yeah.
Yes, not the first one. See, I say the first one because I feel like Devil's Rejects is pretty much the first one, but it's not. It is the sequel,
yes.
But it might as well be standalone.
It's the Godfather 2 of the trilogy.
It is.
But that was stupid as well, because they were like, here's a documentary crew. Why would a documentary crew have been filming these prisoners out on day release doing some work? And why would they have kept filming whilst Otis was fucking killing people?
I know.
He actually shot the camera at the end. Like, why would the cameraman still have been filming? It was just silly.
I feel like this whole first segment was supposed to be the documentary crew making like a documentary about the three of them.
Yeah,
and then they obviously died halfway through in this Otis segment, but it's just stupid. I hate when they do that. This was found. Shut up.
Like, found by who? Who the fuck found that shit? What were they doing there?
but they still made it. The police didn't take the footage; they just gave it back to the filmmakers so they can make make one,
carry on making
edit it together,
yeah,
put it on TV.
The arts are more important than actual police work.
Yes, of course.
Create.
And literally, they must have given it to him so quickly because how much time had passed?
I know.
Surely that much time
nothing
had
at
passed.
all.
But anyway,
no time at all.
Let's go on to the baby segment where we have the long shot of her coming down the corridor in slow motion, showing how much Rob Zombie loved his wife.
He loves her so much. You turned to me in the film and you said he loves her so much. No one else does.
Oh no.
That's baby. It's because you mentioned
baby.
Oh baby. Let Woody talk. Let's hear Woody's input.
As soon as we get to the baby segment, we have the baby crying.
Yes, that's natural. Go on, tend to him. This was one of my most annoying things in the entire film, was all the baby stuff. There was far too much focus on baby. Anyway, embodied right there in this scene where she's walking down the hallway for like 40 fucking seconds.
I know, terrible.
She can't act.
But the thing is, this segment was supposed to be in the documentary segment as well, so they actually put this. Oh. They actually put this bit into the TV show, I think.
Ridiculous.
And also, we also get the bit where, for some reason, she gets a parole hearing, even though she's killed multiple people. Yeah. Like, just after a few years. 10 years, was it? 10 years she gets her parole, even though she's got 300-something life sentences. And, that's believable.
And all the way through her parole hearing, she was acting as psychotic and crazy as ever, which on paper sounds like, oh, that would be quite fun to watch. It wasn't. It was so tedious. It's like they're really going out of their way to make her quirky and weird this time. Weirder than the last time. It didn't work.
And it didn't even like pan out to anything else in the story. I thought it was going to be like, okay, this is going to be like a major thing because she's obviously lost her mind. Yeah. And it's obviously going to like play out somewhere else in the story, but no, they just forget about it.
They forget about that. They just allow it to carry on in that ridiculous way. It's basically a dragged out version of that scene in Devil's Rejects when she's going Chinese, Japanese.
Oh yes,
that bit. She's just like that the whole way through this film.
And at one point, she sees a cat as well. A woman dressed as a cat.
What
dancing.
The fuck? Oh, see, this is why Rob Zombie is quite poor. Like, Devil's Rejects was a one-off success, I'm sure. I'm really sure. Yeah, that was painful. But anyway, it eventually leads to back to Otis, who is meeting up with his brother in the outside world.
His half-brother.
Richard Brakes, who you like a lot. I didn't know him.
One sec, he's crying again. He's like pulling my headphones off at the moment.
Oh.
Okay, let me see if I can put him in his bouncer. You might like that.
Yes.
Do you want to go in your bouncer? Okay, I'm back.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Right, so just so we can let our audience know, there will be a baby in the background. When I say baby, I don't mean baby Firefly. I mean, there's a baby in a bouncer jumping up and down, rattling, which is my baby, Woody.
Yes.
So try and phase that sound out and only listen to our soothing voices.
Yes, indeed. Well, we were nicely at the point where we had summarised everyone's introduction. It all basically culminates in Baby getting broken out of jail because Otis and his brother on the outside go to the warden's house and hold his wife and like their friends hostage in a very, very similar way to what happened in the motel in Devil's Rejects.
This is where we stopped and we were like, okay, this is pretty much the same like thing. It's like he tried to tread the same water as Devil's Rejects, and just not as well. We also had that clown segment. So I noticed this as well when the knock on the door came and they were like, "Who's here? Who's else supposed to be coming?" And it's the exact same thing that happened, except they shot him as soon as they got him in the door.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. That is very true. I think he must have just picked up the script for Devil's Rejects and repurposed every page.
Yes.
Like, rather than write from scratch, he just took that script and changed lines of dialogue and slight actions.
Yes, indeed.
But that house scene was quite good because it had the tension that we love from the Devil's Rejects.
It was one of the better scenes. Tension. Yes. And that clown scene was funny but I think it was funny because it was dumb more than funny because it was actually funny.
Did you know that was Clint Marshall? I didn't realise till the credits came up.
The clown?
Yeah, I didn't know who he was.
I don't know his name, but I do know the actor.
Yeah, he's that bald guy with not Clint Marshall. Who the hell's Clint Marshall? Clint Howard.
Oh, Clint Howard.
Is that just that guy with the big heads and his teeth normally stick out?
Yes, always plays some stupid character.
Always plays a stupid character, or always plays a character at a control room switchboard.
Yes, that's true.
With headphones on or something. Isn't it?
Yes.
He's always in like some sort of space thing. Anyway, he was a clown in it, and then he pissed his pants and was killed.
Yes, and then they...
And then the thing that was weird here was right before Otis kills him, he says, "I fucking hate clowns." It's like, I thought that was an interesting line, considering the whole Spaulding thing.
Yeah.
And again, I thought, maybe we're going to get a little character development here and find out that he had a really bad relationship with Spaulding, who, am I wrong, was Spaulding his dad?
I think was Spaulding...
Spaulding was Baby's dad. I think.
Was it, or was it the uncle?
Maybe the uncle.
Because the dad was in House of Thousand Corpses, wasn't he?
Was he?
I think so. I don't think it was a dad.
Whatever it was.
Unless it might have been.
It still felt like, okay, we're going to explore this now and find out why he doesn't like Spaulding. But no, that was it. Just that throwaway line and then done.
Yes.
It's like, what the fuck?
It's like you didn't really think about your characters here. And like their relationship to other characters. And one of them's a clown.
I didn't get it.
Very silly.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking weird comment to make.
Yes.
Anyway, Baby is busted out of prison after she somehow fucks up two other prisoners who are there to knife her. She kills both of them. The female prison officer who finds her somehow doesn't die either.
Yeah.
And she gets out and she goes to the house and there's more
Distresses
violence.
a policeman. So what? We were surprised actually. We were expecting to see a Rob Zombie shot of her getting dressed into the policeman's outfit.
I know, there was
but
none.
It never actually happened.
No arse shots of her, no.
Very surprising.
Yes. And then the whole bloodshed stuff happens at the house, which was mildly interesting. It got worse when Baby turned up. There was some knifing on the lawn.
Another carbon copy where it's the woman who's pretty much, in Devil's Rejects, she's almost naked. In this one, she is naked. And she's holding a knife and she's basically going to go stab her. In Devil's Rejects, she threw the knife at her. But this one, she chases her down out into the street.
That's
just
right.
like the woman who runs out into the street in the Devil's Rejects.
Exactly like it.
He's getting all the duplications in this script.
Totally. And
Copy
but
paste.
I've got to say, this is kind of where the film ran its course for me, because it was up to this point was the last time that I think I enjoyed it. Because
I agree with that. It kind of got a bit. I don't think he knew where he was going after this.
It flipped completely. It was like, that was the first 50 minutes, and it was like, I feel like if the movie had kind of carried on like that, it would have been a lot more like House of a Thousand Corpses, and I kind of could have gotten behind it a little bit. But then it just totally flips, and they all go to Mexico to hide out.
Yes, and it turns into the buddy movie again, where they're the good guys again. That you're not supposed to fear them anymore. They're just going to make jokes at each other, and they don't threaten anyone. There's no one who's being tortured or anything by them. They're just nice to everyone from then on.
Yeah, nice. I was thinking exactly that. How do they go from being these vicious killers who will attack and slaughter anyone to being just chilling out constantly with everyone around them? Doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah,
even Baby in the knife scene, with the knife throwing scene, I was so convinced she was going to turn around with that massive blade and start slashing up some of those guys who were like leering over her and whatnot. But no, it was just like, no, we're going to just do a knife throwing scene now for 4 minutes.
She did kill that one guy because she wanted to go out and kill someone. She killed the guy with the Mexican hat.
Yeah, but that was when they were in the bloody motel.
Oh, was that? Oh yeah, they didn't even get to Mexico then.
No, that was right before they went to Mexico.
Oh, I just got confused because they're wearing Mexican hats for some reason.
Yeah,
it was a Halloween party or something.
It was a Halloween party. But knowing Rob Zombie, that probably was his attempt to replicate Mexico, and they just got an extra from the Mexico set to be like a fancy dress party guy. It was so badly done. And then in Mexico, I don't know, man. I don't know about you, but I was really uninterested in their drinking and their whoring around, because that's what it was for like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah. This is the replication of the drinking in the whorehouse again from Devil's Rejects. It's all the same film. It's pretty much the same film, and then the person comes after them.
Yes, it was interesting then.
It was,
but this time round it wasn't, because I felt I felt no like I kind of like them while any of this was going on.
No, because they got annoying.
They got annoying because the conversations went from things like Tutti Frutti to, oh yeah, we're going to start shooting porn. And it's like, oh man, this is crap dialogue. This is childish. Like, why are you going to talk about the name of your porn website? And the guy comes up and the line's going to be, show me a salami. It's like, what the fuck? Come on, man. Who's writing that? Trump would write that. Trump
so bad.
Could have written the script for this.
Yes.
Somebody find out if he's a co-writer. I believe he is. Fucking Trump
horrendous.
Bitch.
And then we get the call from the hostel owner to the Marcus Alvarez from Sons of Anarchy, saying that, oh yes, I don't know how he knew, but oh yeah, this is the guy who killed your brother. Oh yeah, because they knew because of the documentary footage. Sorry,
yeah,
that
and also the Devils just so happened to come to the one fucking town in Mexico where a guy behind the bar had the contact of Danny Trejo's brother.
Of course, why not?
Ridiculous.
Mexico's small, you know. It's a very small place.
It is.
It's just that one little village. That's Mexico. And then we get a lovely scene of someone delivering coffins.
Yes. 3 coffins. Because when he's on the phone, he's like, I'm coming tomorrow and bring 3 coffins. And then, it cuts to the van pulling in.
He actually booked the courier.
Booked the courier. And they're all like, there's guys standing behind the van, like, gesturing, put the coffins there.
Oh, yeah, put them down there. What's the delivery slip say? Who are these for?
Who's signing for this? Oh, man. And then
they all turn up in their luchador outfits.
What's luchador?
The wrestlers. The wrestling outfits.
Oh, right.
Yes, with their wrestling masks on. Looking mighty fine. Looking like they just come out of the Halloween store. Those cheap costumes.
Yes, they did. And they were never imposing or threatening at any moment. No. It was just like, this is just lazy grindhouse action at this point. So
bad. And they tried to make, like, obviously Danny Trejo's brother was the main guy who was dressed in the black.
Yeah.
But they tried to make these other characters have speaking roles as if they'd been in the film the whole time. Like, oh, now I'm gonna get you now.
Yeah.
And it's like, who are you?
Yeah, it's like, who are you?
Why do you think you're gonna do it?
No one gives a fuck. Yeah. Oh man. And so they all come into the town square, the village square, for the final showdown.
Yes.
Otis and Baby and their brother, who was called Wolfie or some fucking thing. He was so unestablished for me. I don't even know what he was called.
It was like Lone Wolf or something. Lone Wolf. Moon Wolf.
That's it.
Moon Wolf. It was Moon Wolf, wasn't it?
That's it.
Yeah.
And then, like, Moon Wolf and Baby are tied to, like, the stake or something like that. And the Mexicans are all standing round doing that typical shit where they keep talking and don't do any killing.
Yes. Just waiting for... They're shooting so many bullets in the air.
So many bullets in the air.
like Danny Trejo's brother keeps shooting in the air, and his little his henchmen are shooting like, oh, can we shoot as well? And they just keep shooting as well. It's like, just wasting so many bullets, guys.
So many bullets. That's why they probably did try and kill the Devils, but they just ran out of them because they had been firing them up in the fucking sky for so long. And then the dwarf comes out and like frees them, and it's so badly written. Like, he's cutting through Baby's ropes and he's going, I'm here to save you. It's like, yeah, we get that. Yes. She gets that. You're right there cutting her ropes off.
Yes, she understands.
And then he just takes a torrent of bullets.
Yeah, he just jumps in front of the bullets for some reason.
Oh man. And then
they burn his dick.
Then they burn his dick. They burn the guy
just pour
from
some
Sons of
petrol on his
Anarchy's
dick. Yeah. Set him alight.
What they should have done.
They want to see his eyes, though. They want to see his eyes do that thing.
Yeah, they wanted to see his eye. Let me see it. Like there was a little glimmer there of what Devil's Rejects was like. That like pleasure in the fear, but it wasn't big enough, was it?
No.
They should have buried him alive in that coffin. That's what I thought they were going to do. That would have been darker, but no. They
it was just
put him
some
in a coffin
bad
and burnt
fire
him.
effects.
There was,
and he was just going
yes. And then the final biggest crime of all. Yeah. It ended with a 5-minute tracking shot over the highway, over this, I swear, the exact same road that Devil's Rejects ended on.
Yes. It could have had an extra point.
And it teased us.
It could have got an extra point
for doing something special. It teased us right to the fucking end of the film, all the way through the credits.
We watched the whole thing.
There was nothing.
They could have just had a little siren in the distance and we would have been happy.
Yes.
But no. They made us watch the whole road. The lonely road that we rode on.
The Lonely Road to Nowhere. That is what this film should have been called, because that's what it was. If I wasn't watching it with you, it would... if I wasn't watching this film with you, and if it wasn't the characters from Devil's Rejects, I would have turned it off after about 40 minutes.
Yes, totally. It was only because of Devil's Rejects that we actually stuck with this film.
Yeah, absolutely. What a shame.
Yes.
Rob Zombie, never make another film.
You silly man. You'd have to watch 31, though.
Okay, 31. What does it get on the IMDb?
Probably really bad.
Yeah, probably. That actually doesn't matter, does it? Because I swear Devil's Rejects probably hate it as well. I will watch it. This is the problem when people who were part of something you love say they're coming back to do another thing. It doesn't always mean it's a good thing. This is a perfect example of exactly that.
Yeah, 100%.
We wanted to see it. We loved the thought of it, but it fucked us.
The anticipation for this film.
It also had no Ken Foray.
Oh, yes.
Keenan's dad.
Keenan's dad.
That's what I always knew him from until he appeared in this. I was like, oh, whoa, that's a bit different, man. I swear he's in one of the Texas Chainsaws as well, actually.
Yeah, he does some horrors, doesn't he, that guy? Very disappointing.
And that's all I've got to say about this. Yeah,
that's all I've got to say. We're never going to speak of it again. Only Devil's Rejects. It's forgotten.
Only Devils. Just the Devils. The Devils.
The Devil? What the devil? What's that film?
The Devils. What the devil?
What the devil?
It was very good. Devil's Rejects. Let's not talk about 3 from Hell ever again.
And look, and now, as if by magic, because of how much we've slated, the baby is crying. Baby Firefly is crying of how much we dislike this film.
See, that baby knows films.
Oh, he's actually quite happy now.
That's because I told him that. So now now he will never ever watch this film. Do you know what would be crazy? If we're still podcasting in 15 years and he is listening to an old episode of ours, he'll hear himself as a baby crying in the background. And he might just decide to go and rent 3 from Hell just out of interest.
And we'll say, you should have listened to the podcast first, you stupid baby.
Yes. I'll say, did we stutter, bitch? and then he'll say, it was good the first time, the second time it wasn't good, and the third time was worse.
Yes, of course. He agrees.
Good. We've run out of everything to say. This was terrible.
This was terrible.
What was the last line of the film?
The last line of the film was probably something like...
Come on, motherfucker.
No, was it?
Otis was calling everyone motherfucker.
He was. It was something to do with watching his eyes, I think.
No, there it is.
And they just walked away. Now there it is. And they walked away.
There it is.
Some of that. Something stupid like that.
Yes.
Stupid.
Well, anyway, we are done with it.
Yes. Never again.
Never again.
We hope you guys enjoyed that podcast episode. As my baby cries in the background, you can get in touch with us at FilmBusters Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Or you can go to our website where we do some lovely reviews and all our podcasts are on there. It's www.filmbusterspod.co.uk. You also have our individual Twitter accounts. I'm at FilmBusters Paul.
And I'm at FilmBusters Ben. And the one who's not here is at FilmBusters Adam.
Yes. Love you, listeners. And I guess we'll see you next time in the next episode of FilmBusters. Now my dog's dreaming.
Your dog's dreaming?
Yeah, he's making the little barking noises.
Fucking hell, man. Your house is haunted at the moment. What's going on? The babies are crying. The dogs are barking. Get the
Free
fuck
from
out
hell
of that
in
house.
here. We got the hell dog.
Free from hell.
We got the baby firefly.
You got the wolf dog. Yeah, you got the wolfhound.
Oh yeah.
And you're Otis.
The moon dog.
There was really what's going on in your
moon
house.
wolf.
The moon dog. Moon wolf. Whatever
I
that
got
thing
moon
was
wolf,
called.
baby firefly. So I must be Otis.
You're definitely Otis.
Yeah, I'll choose his character over everyone.
No, I like to be him too, but I'm really Spalding, I think.
Yes,
I'm nice
you
and
definitely
rotund like Spalding. How dare you?